It might get nasty. And do you hear and see the responses of the people?
It will be by the church, but not in the church. It will be church-ish, but not church.
You won't believe how many trusted black church leaders were later exposed by the very people who once believed in them the most. In this video, we break down shocking moments where respected pastors and powerful church figures were called out by their own members, revealing secrets that were hidden behind sermons, titles, and influence. From personal scandals involving Pastor Chris Hill to disturbing allegations surrounding Pastor Terry Hornbuckle, these stories reveal a side of leadership many people never expected to see. Stay until the end, because the deeper we go, the more intense and unbelievable these exposures become. Number 1. Pastor Chris Hill. First on the list is Pastor Chris Hill, a respected church leader whose fall from grace started not in secret, but in a message sent directly to his own congregation. In April 2017, everything changed when his wife of over 20 years, Joy Hill, exposed him in a mass text message sent to church members, revealing that he had been involved in an affair. The situation became even more shocking when the alleged partner was identified as Shernay McFarland, a married employee of the church and someone deeply connected to the family. This was not just gossip. It was public, direct, and impossible to ignore. The church community was thrown into confusion overnight. Members who once trusted their pastor now had to question everything. Soon after, Pastor Chris Hill resigned from his position at the Potter's House of Denver. His marriage also fell apart, leading to a formal separation. For many, it seemed like the end of his ministry, but the story did not end there. Just a few months later, Bishop T.D. Jakes publicly supported him. By August 2017, Hill had completed counseling and was allowed to return to ministry in North Carolina. Still, more controversy followed. In 2019, Hill spoke about his difficult divorce, adding more personal drama to an already damaged image. Later, he was also accused of financial misconduct involving a cryptocurrency project, where it was claimed he took about $1.3 million from followers. Reports even suggested that some of that money was used for personal expenses. The key insight here is simple. When leadership is built on trust, exposure hits harder when it comes from within. And once that trust is broken, every action begins to look different. And it raised one big question. How much did people really know about the man they trusted? But if that story felt intense, the next one takes things to a much larger scale. Number 2. Bishop T.D. Jakes.
He still has a plan for your life. He still has a call on your life.
Next is one of the most powerful and widely known church leaders in the United States, Bishop T.D. Jakes. For years, he has been seen as a major voice in modern Christianity, leading a massive church and influencing millions through preaching, books, and media. His success also brought criticism, especially around teachings that connect faith with financial success. But in 2024, things took a darker turn when serious allegations surfaced from individuals who claimed to have had personal experiences with him. Two brothers, Dwayne Youngblood and Reverend Richard Youngblood, both connected to church leadership, stepped forward with accusations that included claims of inappropriate behavior and misconduct.
Elder Jakes that's where some of this came from. Understand me, without me going into certain levels, that's where some of this came from.
Dwayne claimed that Jakes tried to groom and take advantage of him in the past. His brother supported his claims and even filed a legal case with his own allegations. What made this situation even more intense was how the story unfolded publicly. Interviews, statements, and legal actions began to shape the narrative, turning a private claim into a public battle. Jakes responded by pushing back legally, while the accusers argued that they were speaking out against someone they believed held too much power. At the same time, his name was also mentioned in a separate legal case involving Sean Diddy Combs, which added more attention to the situation, even though the details were still being debated. For many followers, this was confusing. A man they saw as a spiritual leader was now involved in serious public claims. And as heavy as that situation is, the next case moves from accusation to conviction. Number 3. Pastor Terry Hornbuckle. Pastor Terry Hornbuckle's story is one of the most disturbing on this list because it did not stop at exposure. It led to legal judgment and long-term consequences. Hornbuckle founded a church that grew quickly from a small group into a large congregation, eventually moving into a multi-million-dollar building. He was seen as a rising leader with strong influence. But in 2006, everything changed when two members of his own church came forward with serious accusations. They claimed that he had engaged in harmful and criminal behavior, including actions that crossed legal and moral boundaries. He spiked their drinks and engaged in inappropriate behavior with them. Another woman, who was not even part of the church, made similar claims.
The red flags.
I found myself literally awakening one day to the news media that there were these accusations against my ex-husband.
These were not small accusations. They led to a full investigation and eventually a court case. That same year, Hornbuckle was found guilty and sentenced to 15 years in prison. For many people, it was shocking that someone in his position could be involved in such crimes. But the story did not end with his sentence. In 2020, just days before his expected release, a jury reviewed his case again. They decided he was still a danger and recommended that he be placed in a psychiatric facility instead of being released. Reports described him as manipulative and lacking understanding of his actions. This case was not just about scandal, it was about real harm, real victims, and the serious consequences of abuse of power. And it changed how many people viewed leadership within the church. But not every controversy involves crime. Some are built on teachings and actions that divide entire communities, like the next pastor on our list. Number 4, Pastor Keon Henderson. Pastor Keon Henderson's controversy shows how words alone can shake a church. As the leader of a large ministry, Henderson built a strong following with his style and message.
Why, I praise the Lord, and I'm gonna go sit down. Do I have any praise warriors in here?
But in 2014, a sermon he delivered created major backlash. He told his congregation that giving to the poor does not bring financial returns, while emphasizing that tithing to the church leads to increase.
Dropping money, but let me tell you something, the poor will be with you always, and there is no blessing connected to blessing the poor other than getting back what you gave to them, but no multiplication.
This statement went against what many believers understood about generosity, causing both members and other pastors to question his teachings. The reaction was immediate. Clips spread online, and discussions about money, faith, and responsibility began to grow. Then, another moment added to the tension. A video showed Henderson telling a woman to be quiet during a service while she was visibly emotional.
Hush, hush.
Though he later apologized, the damage had already been done. Later, financial pressure added to the criticism when he asked over 2,000 members to donate $2,100 each within 21 days to cover repairs. Some members supported the effort. Others felt uncomfortable, calling him out publicly as too much pressure. But while words can create controversy, the next pastor pushed boundaries in a very different way. Number 5, Pastor Michael Todd. Pastor Michael Todd became known for his bold and modern approach to church, but that same approach also placed him at the center of major backlash.
So I said, we're going to go to the edge on this. And they said, Pastor, how far on the edge are we going to go? I said, we're going to do everything short of sin.
In 2023, his church hosted an Easter service that looked more like a concert than a traditional gathering. With music, performances, and dramatic visuals, the event divided opinion. Some people saw it as creative outreach, while others believed it crossed important lines. But the moment that truly shocked people came earlier, when Todd used a physical demonstration during a sermon that involved touching a member in a way many found uncomfortable. Todd spit into his hands and rubbed it on a church member's face during a sermon.
But you hit. It might get nasty.
The clip spread quickly online, and reactions were intense. Even though he apologized, some members left the church, showing how quickly trust can shift. In trying to reach more people, leaders sometimes push limits. But when those limits are crossed, the same attention that builds growth can also create backlash. And as controversial as that was, the next story brings us back to money and family conflict. Number 6, Pastor Creflo Dollar. Pastor Creflo Dollar has long been associated with teachings about prosperity and financial success. His ministry grew into a large organization with significant influence. But in 2012, his name appeared in headlines for a very different reason. He was accused of physically harming his teenage daughter during a family incident.
Discipline my kid, love him. Love him? Yeah. Same problem everybody, parents going through. Yes, sir. Anything you want to say to your congregation? No, sir.
The situation quickly became public, with reports, statements, and legal action bringing attention to the case. Dollar denied the more serious claims and described the situation as an emotional family disagreement. He later completed required programs, and the case was resolved without long-term legal punishment. However, the public reaction showed how quickly personal matters can affect public trust.
The truth is, she was not choked, she was not punched.
When leaders teach control, discipline, and success, people expect those same values to appear in their personal lives. When that expectation is broken, even private situations become public judgment. And finally, the last story may be the most unsettling of all. Number 7, Pastor David E. Taylor. Pastor David E. Taylor built a following through bold claims and strong messaging, but behind the scenes, former members began to tell a very different story. In 2019, reports surfaced from people who had worked within his ministry, describing an environment they claimed was controlling and manipulative. They spoke about long hours.
I go on a vacation, the ministry give me a vacation bonus, and it comes out of that. So
pressure to meet donation targets, and systems designed to bring in money at all costs. One former worker said he was expected to send up to 1,000 messages and help bring in at least $500 every day. Others described living conditions that were far below what they expected, despite the image presented publicly. There were also claims of emotional and physical mistreatment, along with accusations of inappropriate behavior.
I'm sorry.
Do you show that in your income that you got Louis Vuitton clothing?
No, that's not. That
doesn't show.
Because it don't go there.
A gospel singer who had a relationship with Taylor also came forward with serious allegations. These stories painted a very different picture from what people saw publicly. What made this case stand out was the pattern. Multiple voices, similar stories, and consistent details created a picture that was hard to ignore. When a structure is built around control instead of care, it eventually reveals itself through the people inside it. And when those people speak out, the truth becomes impossible to hide. It left many wondering how something like this could go on for so long without being exposed. These stories show one clear pattern. Power without accountability often leads to exposure, and the truth usually comes from those closest to the situation. And just like that, everything people believed changes.